when when I did a video about the Schengen visa, so many people came to my messages here on YouTube, on TikTok, and Instagram, asking me what is this visa you are talking about, which is a Schengen visa. And I said I'll do a follow-up video and give you a general overview of what it is and what are the requirements for you to get this type of visa, because it's an opportunity which many people should not miss. And information is one thing which helps people to understand the different types of visas and what are the requirements. And today I'll talk about the requirements for this type of visa. Na mkae hapa mpaka mwisho, because I want you to get the details, the juicy part of this video. So the juicy part mostly is at the end, and that is why I'll tell you who is listening, don't forget to like this video so that we get to where we are heading. Thank you for the 4,400 of you who are already here following me and taking action with this information, because this information which can help you to achieve your dreams, because most young people, they lack leadership. Where we come from, there is a culture of not giving out information, and we usually share messages or information which is not important or which doesn't help anyone. So anyway, thank you very much for joining. Make sure that you are subscribed if you are not, because that is the only and surest way of making sure that you will receive these videos whenever I post them. Also, make sure that the notification bell is turned on down there, so that whenever I post these videos, you get they are sent to your screen, and you'll be among the first people to take action. Otherwise, there is a link I'm going to attach down there for those people who want to pursue education in the US and Canada, and they have scored well. And I'll do a separate video for it, explaining what are the requirements and when the program is starting, the requirements, including what amount of money you'll be given to go and study in the country of your dream. Because I realized that many people have a problem when it comes to getting finances, and it's a barrier to entry for most people who are aspiring to go and study maybe in the US or in Canada. But this video is basically not about that. I'll do a separate video. So let me get into what is the Schengen visa and the requirements. Schengen visa is a visa which covers many countries. There are 26 countries in Europe, and you just need to talk to one country. You do for an interview in one country, and then you are able to crisscross all the borders of that region, because these countries start from Germany, France, Poland, Switzerland, Latvia, all those many of those Eastern European countries. They allow you to, once you get that visa, you're able to move around, visiting, maybe doing your own research. Maybe you are doing research, maybe you are recording your own videos and whatnot. Maybe you are studying. You'll be able to move across the borders of that country with the minimum friction. So let me, because I've jotted some of this information down here so that I don't forget. I wanted to tell you this. The Schengen visa is one visa which depends the country you'll start to visit in, the country you'll enter the Schengen area in, is the country which determines whether you'll get the visa or not. And the requirements of that country is what you need to go with. But they are basically what we call basic requirements for you to be able to get into the Schengen area. And one thing is, you need to have a valid passport which has validity for at least 6 months, because they want to be sure that you will exit, and they have somewhere to stamp the visas on. So you'll need a passport which is has validity maybe for at least 6 months, and the Schengen visa allows you to stay in the Schengen area for 60 days in a 180-day period of time. So in a span of 180 days, you can only be at the Schengen area for 60 days. So make sure that you have that in mind before you visit that area. The other thing you'll need is before you visit the embassy, you need to have a signed and completed visa application form, and that you'll get from the website of the country you want to start your visit in. Maybe, for example, you want to start your visit in, let me say, Italy. You'll need to download the visa application form, fill it, and you can go with it either to VFS or the embassy of the country with which you want to start your visit in. The other thing, you'll definitely need to have what we call recent passport styled photographs. Those are what we call passport photos. Picha zile unafaa kuwa na hizo picha so that they are pinned and they know who you are, and they need to be recent, at least for the past not more than 6 months old, for the embassy to be able to serve you well. The other thing, you need to demonstrate that you have what we call enough financial proof of financial ability or means to sponsor your trip, or to sponsor your stay while in the Schengen area, so that they know that it will not become a burden or a public charge while in that area. So you need to prove that you have enough financial resources, or else there is a company or your employer is financing or is funding your trip to that area. So basically, make sure that if you are funding your stay, you have something like what do we call it, a statement, bank statement, which shows that you have enough money to live for the period of time you will be in that country. If it's Italy, if it's Germany, you need to do your own calculations and know the average cost of living, the average cost of accommodation, food, and all those amenities while you are living in that country, and the number of days you will be there. The other thing is you need to prepare what we call a travel itinerary. Itinerary is basically a plan of what you'll be doing in the countries you'll be visiting, the things you plan to do while in that country. But is it a must you follow it to the letter? Plans change. You don't need to. You just need to prepare something which is convincing enough to the visa officer, so that when you go for the interview, they'll see that you properly arranged your trip and you know what you are doing, and that should be consistent with the amount of money you have and the length of stay you will be in that country. The other thing you need to show is a proof of that you've paid for what we call travel insurance. This is one important thing you need to have when you plan to visit the Schengen area. And this you can get from local insurance companies. Talk to your insurance companies in your country, maybe if it's Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, if it's Malawi, Ghana, Nigeria. Make sure that you visit the local what we call the insurance companies, and talk to them and ask them how much they charge for you to get a travel insurance that you are going to the Schengen area and you want to be covered. And basically, it should not be expensive, because it depends with your country, but from what I know, it's not very, very expensive. There are things you might need. They are not a must-have, but you might need a letter of invitation from the host or the person you'll be visiting during that period. So if you are visiting a friend, let's say a spouse, a boyfriend, you might need to get to show an invitation letter to show that you are going to this address, this person, you know them, and you've been in communication maybe for 3 or 4 months, and you need to get a visa to go and be with them for a certain period of time. So make sure that the person who is inviting you, gives you what you call an invitation letter, properly written, and showing the purpose and reason for your visit, and the length of the length of your stay. That is the other thing which you must have in mind before you take your bags and start going to the Schengen area, is that you need to show proof of accommodation. Let's say, for example, Jackson is planning to visit the Schengen area. I can book accommodation using Airbnb or bookings.com, or maybe showing that I have an address of a friend of mine where I'll be accommodated for the time period I'll be in that country. That is one thing which shows that you are able to cater for yourself, and you'll not become a public charge or a burden to the public while in the host country. The other thing which will help the visa officer now to know that you are not a flight risk, that you'll not go there to that country and fail to go back to your country, is something we call a proof of employment. If you are permanently employed in your home country, that is one sure thing which, when you show to the visa officer, they'll know that you will go back to your home country after you are done with your visit. So you don't pose a risk of defaulting on your visa and not going back to your home country. So if you have employment, be sure before you go for the embassy, you have pay slips. I don't know what you call them in different countries, but I hope you get what I mean. Carry copies of like 3 months or 6 months pay slips showing that the amount of money you earn and the company you work for and the address. And if you have a website for the company, you can also include it there. The other thing, okay, before I forget, you can also carry your employment letter, the one you are given by employer when they were employing you, and that will go a long way to show that you are not you are a person who has financial means, and you don't intend to go and stay permanently and illegally in the Schengen area. The other thing, and this is very important, I don't think why I wrote it at the bottom, is a criminal record check. And this is called different names in different countries. Some countries call it PCC, Police Clearance Certificate. Other countries call it Certificate of Good Conduct. Call it different names, but just know that you'll need to show that you do not have a criminal record, and you don't pose a risk to the populations in those countries. So be sure to get police clearance from the countries you've lived in since you became 18 years of age, and that will go a long way in helping you get the visa you required. The duration for getting the Schengen visa can vary from a few days to maybe several weeks, even months, depends on the workload they have, but it varies that way. The other thing, once you get the visa, it doesn't ultimately guarantee that you'll gain entry into the Schengen area, because one thing, the people at the border control officers in that country are the ones who determine that whether they will going to admit you or not into the Schengen area. So present the best of yourself. And one thing I usually tell people is do not carry maybe your academic documents. If you are planning to just visit the Schengen area, you can leave them behind. And if you plan otherwise, the documents can be forwarded to you later through a courier. There are so many courier services which can help you to get your documents. I'm trying to see the other things I had jotted down for you. The cost of maybe getting the Schengen visa ranges from anywhere between 60 to 90 pounds. You can calculate that to your local currency, and you'll get a feel of how much money you'll need to have. Otherwise, you need to do your own research, because even children, there are some category of people who are not exempted in some countries from paying for the visa, like children below 6 years of age. In some countries, you find that they are exempted. Otherwise, basically, that is what I wanted to tell you for today. I don't want the video to be very, very long. We'll do the other bit of the video in another section, in another session. Be sure to ask your questions down there. You can even promote us by liking and subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification bell, so that whenever we post videos, you are among the first people to be notified. Thank you very much, and watch the other videos attached here or here, and also check the cards which we post up here somewhere here, so that you get to watch the other benefits. Thank you very much and have a good day.